Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Table Testimony Talk Edition. I am your host, Ceandra James, also known as Chef Candy. Today's edition, y'all, is one near and dear to my heart, and I'm so excited. So, as fancy as I think I am, sometimes I am not, but I had the opportunity to partner with the Etowah Chamber, and this is going to be the first of our podcast series, podcast socials, and then we are also have our Mr. Nick Johnson today, who is with Onyx Studios. So ladies, please give these gentlemen in the room a round of applause for joining us and being here today. All right, so we are going to jump into it. So this is our fourth episode with the table. This is going to be our series for Mother's Day. And not only for Mother's Day, we are featuring women who are in business. So without further ado, we have our four featured panelists this morning. I'm going to take the time out to let these amazing, beautiful ladies introduce themselves. And so starting from my right, your left, we're going to start here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Natasha Al-Hijazin, the owner of Zen Med Spa in Rainbow City, Alabama. We focus on helping women and, of course, men's how to be confident about their skin and themselves.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you.
Next, we have
Jasmine. My name is Jasmine Lopez with Jasmine Lopez Agency, and I have the coolest job ever. I'm actually an insurance agent, and my job is to protect families and businesses for, in case something bad happened. We never want nothing bad to happen, but in case something does happen, you have the protection. And I'm actually located downtown Gadsden, next to the courthouse. So if you ever need life insurance, homeowners, auto insurance, or anything like that, we're here to protect you and help.
awesome. Thank you.
My name is Jessica Glover. I am the owner of the Ivy League Hydration. We are the only mobile IV hydration here in Etowah County. Not only do we serve Etowah County, we serve surrounding areas as well. We bring convenience and care to your doorstep. So if you're sick, you just don't feel good, or you just want to boost the energy, you don't want to go to the ER, call me and we'll come to your home.
Awesome. Thank you. And last but certainly not least.
Thank you. I'm Lexi Humphrey. I own Victory Cheer and Tumble and also Victory Preschool. We are located in Glencoe, and we love to serve the community and not only build athletes inside of our facility, but also outside. The growth and the confidence, that's our biggest thing that we want to make sure that we're doing for these kids in the community and giving back, of course. We have ninja, gymnastics, twirl, cheerleading, you name it, we do it. So bring all your children to us. We would love to serve them and serve our community some more.
Awesome. Everybody give it up for our panelists here today with us. Okay, everybody, so what we're going to do is jump into our question segment. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of my podcast because I'm a talker and I love to talk. But this gives me the opportunity to connect. I am a connector by nature. That is what God has designed me to do. And so beyond teaching and being a servant, I love to connect people. And that is why I love business, and that is why I went into business. So again, my name is Ceandra James. I am the owner of the Candy Factory Bakery and Brew House, which is a business that I rebranded from our original company, Andy Pandy Candies, that was started in 2008 by my mother, Ms. Jennifer James. So it has been a labor of love, and I say life is one of those things that expected unexpected. I can tell you at one point I said that I would never be caught dead serving people because I didn't want to do it. I wanted to just finish my degree in college, and I was going to be a forensic pathologist. But life happens, and life is lifing, and here I am doing something that I said I would not do. However, I was 24 years old when I said that, and I'm 45 now. So that is where we are, and that is business, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs. So this segment is going to be focusing on women who lead, who serve, and who build, and the power at the table. These four lovely ladies, y'all, were, when I thought about this for Mother's Day, and me and Philip talked, and it was like, I want to do something profound. I want to do something to showcase women in business because these ladies rock. And they were chosen because these are women that I've all connected with at some point in time. Miss Natasha, after the transition of my son, was the first person that I went to for a facial and massage. And when I tell you, it was so relaxing but so restoring, and I needed that. Miss Jasmine, I do business with her in insurance. And so, look, I don't want to be riding dirty, so I had to have insurance. So I'm like, let's go with a woman, let's go with somebody I know, but let's go with someone that's going to have amazing customer service. When I walk in the door, I'm greeted not only by her, but her staff. And so that was very important to me, to shop local and to do business with women. Miss Jessica Glover. Jessica is one of my longtime friends and sisters. When I need somebody to talk to pray with, but when I tell you I have low energy, I didn't know why my energy was low, and it was like, my doctor, your vitamin B, and I'm like, and D, and I'm like, so many things were off, and I'm like, well, I know Jessica do some IVs, can you help me with that? And there's never been a time that I didn't call her and she was like, not right there. And also different companies that I've worked with, we partnered with her because it was a must every week that we have these IVs, and if you have not had one, please get one. And last but not least, Miss Lexi, near and dear to my heart. There are a lot of things that connect us, but I can remember coming to your groundbreaking with my cheerleaders at Job Corps and seeing the vision being manifested to what it is today. And when I started teaching Zumba, I began my journey trying to go around to different gyms, and everyone said they were full and did not have the capacity. And Lexi was the first person to say, girl, yes, come on. I have a room for you. It's yours whenever you need it. We'll put you on the schedule. So from me to you ladies, I want to give you your flowers while I'm here. I thank you so very much for the connection. I thank you for your friendships, and thank you for being here. All right, so we're gonna jump into it. So being ladies in business, y'all, we wear many hats. You know, not only being wives, not being mothers, but being our CEO and the brand of our companies. We make it look easy, and I tell you, some days it is not. Some days I have to, pray to keep from crying. And that is, I think, what we do. But so many people do not know the behind the scenes. So I want to talk about the aspect of being in business and how it became about you being in business. And so I tell people, you think you know, but you have no idea. Business ownership is not for the weak. You really have to be, made for this. And being a person who does not fight, you would not make it, because it's like you cannot give up, because every day poses a challenge. So my question to you ladies is, starting a business, what was your number one challenge, and how have you or are you still persevering and pressing forward? So like I said, challenges come every day, it's a different day every day. So how have you, endured and remained persistent in this industry?
The biggest challenge, it's doubting myself at the beginning. But with the practicing, continue education, I overcome that challenge and that fear. And, like I said, just practice, believe in yourself, do everything, continue education, you will overcome that the doubt and the overwhelming and that. Yeah.
Absolutely, awesome.
Well, I think my challenge was starting the Ivy League here in Etowah County. It was nothing like that in Etowah County. So I didn't have anybody I could call and say, hey, how should I do this? Or what you think about this? Because we was the first one here in Etowah County. So it was kind of like we had to lay the blueprint, and it was hard. It was very hard. So I would say that was my challenge.
I think it would be just people telling you, no, you can't do that. And just having it in the back of your head every day of well, they said I couldn't do it. And when God calls you to do something, you feel like that's your mission and that's what you have to do.
Absolutely.
And just to keep pushing and to keep going, really, even when it gets hard, and just knowing that you're not the smartest person in the room, and to always ask for help. That's been my biggest thing is, everybody's got to have a mentor. And that's how we get to where we are today, is to keep pushing and keep going. And if somebody tells you no, you just keep trying.
I'm glad that you said that, Lexi. You have touched on so many different things, you all did. But one of the things, and that's going to be our next question, is what is the one thing you wish you knew about business before you got started? And I think that was with me myself, making sure I had a mentor. Now, I had a mentor after the fact, but I had already jumped off the boat. I'm like those people, I'm just going to do it and, sink or swim. And I don't know any other kind of way to be, because what I don't want to be is a shoulda, coulda, woulda, and get into my 60s and 70s and be like, woe is me. I wish that I would have had enough, zeal and faith and tenacity to just step out on faith and trust that what God has for me was for me. But that doubt that you talked about, Natasha, it comes in as well because there are a lot of people that you think are going to support you don't. And sometimes that is family and friends, but my biggest supporters have been people that I don't even know, who didn't even look like me. And that was one of those things I'm like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. And it's okay. The next question, ladies, what was the one thing that you wish you would have known before you started your business that you know now, or that you're still learning?
Yes, I wish I would have known the chamber sooner. It opened me so many doors because when I started my business, obviously I didn't know what I was doing. So I started with 0 customers. I had no book of business. So that was a big challenging. Wow. And then on top of that, being right next to the courthouse, people thinking that I actually knew exactly what I was doing all the time. But you never know. And I think that's the beauty about businesses, that people can tell you what to expect, how to do it, how not to do it, but you would never actually know what you're doing until you actually start doing it. So once you start doing it, I think that's the scariest part. Yes. And I had this, I don't remember where I heard it from, but they said that when it's the scariest time, that's the time you jump. And that's exactly what I did. When I found my building, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I have 2 kids and I wanted to take care of my babies. So when I found the building, I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to have my own agency. And here we are.
I like it. Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So with the Ivy League, I've been a nurse for 19 years. I could nurse in my sleep. So the medical side of my business, I could do it in my sleep. The business side of my business, I had no idea. I don't know business. I never thought in a million years I would be a business owner. I've been a nurse for 19 years. I've traveled. I worked in California for 8 years. I've had a good life. I made a good living. I don't know why I wanted to start a business, but it's been the best thing, but the hardest thing I've ever done because I don't know business. I've never took business classes, so I'm just winging it.
I love it. And that's the transparency of it, y'all. And I think I'm right in there with you. But if it had not been for my mother giving me the foundation, because a lot of people said, well, how did you get started? And I tell people I was voluntold. Because when my mom started baking cakes, y'all, when she started catering, if you a child in the house, you work. And that is it. You don't ask, you just voluntold. And I kind of laugh and joke at that. But it was for me, life happened. I wasn't expecting to have a government contract shut down and me lose my job. So it's like when my back was against the wall, like Jasmine said, I had 2 babies. All I know is I had bills to pay. All I know, we still have to eat. Bill collectors calling. I'm like, what do I know how to do? And sometimes it's your gift that you can do in your sleep. And I tell people, work with what you have. Y'all said it earlier. You do not even have to be the smartest person. Lexi said that. But I'm smart enough to know that I need somebody in my corner that's smarter than me, because I do not mind asking those questions. But it was one of those things that I was just like, I know how to bake. I know how to cook. I have excellent customer service. Baby, that's my winning ticket for me. And I can sell it to you. And that is just pretty much me. I did it scared. I did it uncertain. But I'm like, you know what? What else do I have and what do I have to lose? So for me, it's just doing it, just starting. And so to you ladies, I say, if you have not started that business and it's something on your heart, just start. Now, would I say go out and quit your job, do that? No, that was me. I kind of stumbled at it. But for me, I would not have had it any other kind of way. I really would not have. And then it pressed me to lean in more to my faith, because literally without God, y'all, I would not be here. I would have stopped a long time ago, because the first time that my books were not where I thought should have been. And I'm like, let me just go get me a 9 to 5 and I'll be fine. I don't want to do this anymore. But that is not it. It is business. Awesome. Thank you.
I'll add to it. Besides mentor, like I mentioned, I think it's also good for you to own up to your mistakes. We're not perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And, to be upfront with your customers and yourself. Like,
absolutely.
I'm growing and I'm learning in this too. And thank you for your feedback. And I want to make things better, because like she mentioned, we didn't go to school for business. Mm-hmm. It was just a passion that we wanted to do. So it's a growing experience every single day. And so I think that's another key takeaway that I've had besides mentor, is to just own up to if you're wrong and if you're right.
Yes.
And to piggyback off what she said, it's accountability.
Absolutely.
Starting this, having a business teaches you accountability because people are watching you. So you have to
Absolutely.
watch what you say. I can walk in the grocery store, hey, you the Ivy lady. I have no idea who these people are. So everywhere I go, I have to watch what I say, watch how I walk,
Yes.
watch what I do.
Yes.
You know, so it is definitely accountability.
Absolutely. And you ladies are hitting on something, and that leads us to our next question, because you are your brand. And it's very specific. I said, we're your brands, because that's how people know who you are, and you are your billboard. Honey, I, to this day, and my daughter, she was like, I'm so tired of you telling me that. Because people know that you are my daughter, you have to watch what you say, what you do, how you act, because that comes back and it's a reflection of me. Even though it's not me, people see you because I will have her to come in and manage my business for me. And my biggest thing, don't you go to Walmart with no high shoes and no pajama pants on because people know you my child. Don't you be out there looking crazy. And she was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Yes, you do. You represent the candy factory, and people will equate that with me. So please be careful with that. But you all, to piggyback off what you said, will lead into our next question. So in our respective roles, and all of us are in different fields of business, one thing that we all have in common is that we are mentors, that we connect with people, but that we all did it to help people. And all of you have said that. And we have to show up authentically as ourselves, because that is the number one important thing. But all of us touch many people, like physically touch different people, or we mentor. And what we do matters because you have little girls who are watching you. And so being transparent and being, you know, that person that they come and confide in and talk to, because I'm sure there's sometimes you have a young lady to come and talk to you before they talk to their parents. So the first thing I would say being in business is it has to be your ministry. You have to have that why you did it. And if you, one of those people, and it's so funny, when I go to different schools and I talk to youth, the first question I always ask them is, why you want to go into business? Can you think of the first thing they would tell me? To make money, because I don't want a boss. I want to work for myself. I don't want to listen to anybody else. And I said, who told you that? That's the most misconception. I'm like,
They don't want to work a lot.
yeah, baby, I work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I'm like, now, because when you don't see me baking, baby, I'm my own marketing, branding, sales, customer service. I mean, this is it. I'm a one-woman show. But beyond that, this is a ministry. And so thank you all for touching the people that you touch, and that you are authentically yourself and you show up as yourself. And so with our next question, how has business ownership shaped the way that you know, not only serve, but you lead? Because we've talked about, you know, being uncertain and doing it scared, being uncertain and doing it, you know, just not even knowing how. But just being in this position, how has that shaped the way you've led people? Because when you're working for a company, a 9 to 5, and you are, you know, supervised with upper people, some of us have been in upper management, but how does that, because we need a team, and that is one thing, Lexi, you touched on it. Me almost failing had to come at, because I thought I could do it all by myself. And not delegating, not asking for help, because I didn't want to feel like I was beholden to somebody. I didn't want somebody to say, hey, I helped you with X, Y, Z, and you did this for me. Can you double back and get me? I didn't want to feel like I owed anybody anything. So for me, that was the hardest. So how has that shaped the way you lead in your business? And I know that's a lot to that question. So how has that shaped? So how has entrepreneurship and maybe not getting it right, maybe not knowing, how has that, and I'll even go a little further, made you humble to where you can lead? Because even though we know we're not perfect, we know the people that we're managing are not perfect, and they're going to make mistakes. And so how does that, as a business owner,
Well, I can piggyback
resonate?
on that one.
Okay.
So mistakes. Before when I used to work, you know, when I used to work for people, mistakes was a big deal. So I could either get fired. I mean, it was a big deal making a mistake. But when you become a business owner, you want to make mistakes the beginning of the first year you open. And the reason why mistakes are amazing, I think we look at things the wrong way. You want to fail as much as you can the first year. And then the reason why is because you learn That's the way I learn. Especially with my office, with my agency, there's different types of life insurance. So we had to learn that. We do study every 2 years, so we'll keep up every 2 years. I had my license since 2014. So I work for independent companies, I work for State Farm and so many other companies. And even though I had the knowledge and the know-how, it's not the same when you go by yourself. So when you become your own business person, you don't have nobody else to ask questions. You're the person that you're supposed to answer those questions. So I do want you guys to fail, and I want you guys to learn, and don't take it the bad way, because that's the only way we're actually going to learn and get somewhere, by failing. So I love failing.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Also, like, I want to add, like, to be consistent. You have to be consistent. Like, you have to continue learning, to continue education. Like, it will help a lot too.
And I think too, give yourself grace, We're not always perfect, And for me, it's been confidence. It's helped me, I have to mentor kids, boys and girls all the time, and I'm going to have my bad days and my good days, but it's important that I show up for them 100% each and every day. And, then I go home and be a mother at the end of the day too. So I have to remind myself I'm not perfect, I might do all the hats, but at the end of the day, I think it's important to surround yourself with people who also get it too and support you, which is why I'm glad I'm here today.
I love that, and thank you guys for being here. And I'll piggyback off that question. For me, learning to lead was giving myself grace, but giving other people grace. And I think when I worked for other companies, it wasn't that I did not hold that company in high regard, because even whether it was Job Corps, whether it was the Blueprint, whether it was Cook Foods or Telehealthcare, I was in some type of managerial role, so I always tried to make sure that I put my best foot forward in whatever I do. But when it came to my own business, I wasn't willing to make the mistakes, because I felt that if people see me failing, or if people see me stumbling, they would not support me. Or if, God forbid, somebody ordered a cake and it was dry, and I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, that could potentially hurt my business, and they never come back to see me. Thank God nobody's had a dry cake, but I'm just using that as an example. But for me, it literally was giving myself grace to understand you're gonna mess up because you're human. And I just tell people, hey, I'm so sorry, I forgot XYZ, but I will make it up to you. So that is where that customer service comes in, and just learning that it is okay. It is okay not to have it all together. So business ownership, there are many reasons that we do it, and I can tell you one of mine, and I have many. One of mine was to leave a legacy. And what are you building? And so with this table, we were talking about the power at the table, the women who lead, who build and serve. Legacy for me is the biggest thing, leaving something to my kids. And so, but at the end of the day, when I thought about it, what if my kids don't want to do this? I've worked for agencies where I had to come in and do an exit plan for businesses because their kids and grandkids did not want to do it. And so in business, is that something that, you think about? And is that something that, I'm not going to say hinders you from doing it and persevering forward? So what would you think? What do you guys think?
Well, legacy.
Yes.
First of all, I am first American born here. So my parents are immigrants. So legacy to me is a big deal. Why? Because I don't have a cushion to fall off just because my parents did enough just to, make it day by day. So my legacy for my kids will be, hopefully, I don't know if they want to do what I'm doing, but I know that I can make them and take them where they need to go.
Absolutely.
So like if my daughter wants to become a veterinarian, now I know exactly how to follow the through, how to help her, and even if I don't, I know who to call, how to make those connections. So legacy to me is a big deal, just because I want my next generations to do better than what I did. So legacy to me is everything, so yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love that. I think for mine, it's the ministry, I want to leave a legacy, especially for my daughters, but I also want other kids in the area to also feel important and to know that it's also their second home, Like you mentioned before, some of them come to us and tell them their stuff before they even go to their parents.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's important for them to feel safe and heard and seen, and
Absolutely.
I think ministry is important for me.
Absolutely. All right.
Can I add?
Yes, go ahead, please.
For me, like, I want Zen Spa to be a known place for people to feel confident about their skin, about themselves. This is my legacy. Like, this is my point, you know, to let everybody feel confident about their skin, about themselves too.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for sharing that. And so with that, going into it, being business owners and being in settings like this, and thank God, you know, having women who have come today and gentlemen who have supported us, what is the one thing that you would tell women entrepreneurs? You know, some of us are in the same business, you know, and I tell people, you know, when I got ready to open up on Broad Street, people was like, oh my goodness, you know, you already have about 3 or 4 dessert, you know, options downtown. And I said, honey, what that got to do with me? I said, you have Wendy's, Burger King, and McDonald's that can be side by side all selling hamburgers. I said, but they all do it differently. And I'm like, that is not me, it has nothing to do with me. And I am not only about connection, I'm about collaboration and partnerships and building that. And so what would you say as women entrepreneurs to other women, you know, to inspire them, to encourage them, to uplift them, to let them know it is okay to fix your sister's crown. It is okay to give her her flowers. It is okay. We are not competing. We are collaborating. So what would you say to that to other women businesses who it might not even start it or who are in business to just be able to, hey, we are stronger together. And so what would you say to that?
Like if you are ready, you just go ahead and don't be afraid. Like if you're ready, do the math, surround yourself with supporting people, and just go ahead and pursue to your goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, fear is always going to be there, but so is growth. You can't do nothing if you give your business 100%. You can't do nothing but grow. You can't do nothing but grow. You may have some setbacks. You may fail at something, but you're going to grow. You're going to grow. July will be year 2 for me. And I didn't think I would be here today. I know it went by so fast. So you're going to grow. So do it scared.
Absolutely.
Do it without, do it broke. I started broke, you know. I don't know about each individual, but I started my business out of my own pocket. So do it broke, do it scared, and it can't do nothing but grow. You put your heart into it, it's gonna grow.
Challenge yourself.
Yes. And then I want to say something really quick before I forget. It's have no fear. If you look in the Bible, I don't know how many times it appears and says, have no fear, don't be afraid. That's one of the things that push me every day. Don't be afraid, because we have God on our back, you know, on our back. So what can go wrong?
Transparency though.
Yes.
It's hard. You're gonna want to quit.
All the time.
I have quit
I think I quit every day.
176 times. I quit yesterday, but then I had to show up today. So you're gonna have those moments. You're gonna quit. You're gonna cry. You're gonna have sleepless nights. You're gonna, I don't know how to do this. Do it anyway. Figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I think when you have those moments, remember your why.
Yes.
Of why you started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take some questions from our audience. Do any of you have any questions for our lovely panelists today about business or anything like that? Okay, yes.
What was the first moment where you went, I succeeded? The first over the hill, I did that.
That's a great question. I love that. I love it.
So last summer, almost August, I got a call from a school and said, hey, can you come and do our football team? Not only do our football team one time, can you do our football team every week throughout the football year? Absolutely. So that was my moment when and it was not even a school in Etowah County, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. So my marketing is working. Y'all hearing about me. Okay. So that was my moment.
My moment was, I was actually at Walmart with my kids, and I had a lady that came to me and said, are you the insurance lady? So I was like, that made my whole day. So I love that. I love to be the insurance lady. So that I love that.
I'll even answer that question. I think most people call me the cookie lady, which I have been called way worse. So I would take you the candy lady, you the cookie lady. Yes, I am. But I think for me, I've done so many different things, and of course I've failed so many times, and I've quit every single day. And then somebody say, girl, can you cater? Yes, what time you need me there, what day? I'm putting it on my calendar right now. And I dry those tears. But for me, I believe that it was last year. And so I've done many events, many expos, and I entered into my first competition last year. And I did it scared. I did it and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, I'm competing against, multi, billion-dollar companies and Fortune 500 companies and dessert places that people know and love. And I'm like, how am I gonna compete and what am I gonna make? And for me to win, not one, but 2 categories of the Taste of Northeast Alabama, for me, it was my seal of approval. You have made it, signed, sealed, delivered. It was stamped for me. And it was all with something that I listened to me. I was not even going to put on my menu. It was something that I was not even going to feature. It was a chamber event that we had at the Business Expo. And I said, Lord Jesus, what I got in this house that I can feed a lot of people with, bread pudding. And it was something so just pivotal. I mean, it's something I could do in my sleep because I don't think to do it because it's like, just throw a little bit of this, throw a little bit of that, razzle dazzle, there you go. And the bread pudding was not even on my menu. And the lady said, this is some of the best bread pudding I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Granny. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, aunties, because those recipes have been handed down from my families. And I'm like, y'all been sitting on a gold mine and we could have been rich and y'all didn't know what this bread pudding. But, it's one of those things that, thank you, Lord, just something so simple. I thought it was going to be a cookie. I thought it was going to be a pretzel that's setting you apart. No, it was bread pudding, one of the cheapest things to make. And she said, when can I get this? I said, baby, this is not even on my menu. I said, I don't even have it. She said, no, I'm going to need it to be. She said, because this is the best thing that I've tasted on your table. When I say I went back and perfected that thing, now we got like 20 different variations of a bread pudding, whether you can get the peach cobbler, the apple cobbler, or just a regular old-fashioned bread pudding. So the bread pudding was what set me apart. But me winning that competition off of bread pudding was, you made it. And you
I would like to know who some of y'all's mentors are. Who do you look up to?
Oh, wow. Great question.
So I'll go first. So I work for Next Gym Generation Owners. So it is a bunch of cheerleading gym owners that all came and formed this group. They helped me. So my business coach is actually from Missouri, and she owns a gym called Twisters up there. And so now I have mentored, or she's mentored me for so long, I get to mentor other gym owners from New Jersey, Canada, Florida. And so it's come full circle. So for me, it's somebody in my field that does it.
So for me, I joined the Alabama IV Association. It's all IV hydration businesses in Alabama. It's just a big association. They meet once a year, but they have like Zoom calls, Zoom meetings. So that's what I had to join to learn. Yeah.
Well, I don't have a mentor because we actually study everything online for the insurance companies. Where but if I can look up to somebody, I'm obsessed with Dolly Parton. Like she's like, she is just my person. I really love her. Why? Because she grew up really poor. She had a big family. I mean, she has a big background. Like she's just not just rich. Yes, her story is, and we love going to Dollywood at Splash Country. That's just my thing. And now she has a hospital too. Like she's helping kids, and with the books that my kids actually got those books since they were little. So I love Dolly. Like she is like one of my things that aspires so much, and I love how she's so open, so happy. Like she doesn't try to be somebody because she's her person. So that's one of the things that I love about her. She doesn't try to make the wheel again. She's just going with the flow and being herself, and I love that. I love Dolly. Yes.
Okay, I worked before, like in a med spa before, and I still connected with the owner, Janet, and she was actually supporting me, and she's still supporting me until now. Like she told me, Natasha, you're ready to open your med spa. Like her and my husband, you are ready. But I have a fear, but they still supporting me. Janet was the reason. Jamil was my first supporting, and he's always my biggest supportive. So they all I love both of them. They always correct me and pushing me to do more.
I love that. And that was not even a question, but that probably should have been something that we went into, and I'm gonna make it quick. Having a supportive spouse to see your vision, who gets your vision, is amazing. I didn't have that. And so these women have supportive husbands who cheer them on, who literally are on your payroll. They don't even know they're on the payroll, but they are working. So having a spouse, men and women, who sees your vision, who knows what God has put in you and encourages you to not give up, to not fail, to see the best in you. I wish that is what I had, and I didn't. And so somebody out there might not have a spouse that is supportive of you. Love your spouse, you know, as God has ordained you to do, but still, everybody's not going to get your vision, and sometimes it might not even be your spouse. And so with that, still start. I'd rather, and I hate to say it, I'd rather disappoint my spouse than my Lord and Savior. That is just me. But having a team and having a spouse, that is amazing. So I'm glad
My
you said that.
husband is my number one non-paying customer.
Yeah, he is. I remember you saying that. Here's my. I remember you posted that one
He
day,
is.
and
Like,
every time I see him, he on the IV.
And he think when he called, I supposed to come right then. And I'm like, you don't even pay me. Like, dude, you don't pay for your IV.
He said, "You wife it. We're not paying for this."
Like, yeah,
That's
it's
so
like,
funny. We have another question. Yes.
So for the parent side of it, how do you put realistic limitations on what you're doing? Because we got this dream and we got all this we want to do, and let me get out there and tell nobody no. But at some point, you've got to draw a line of a no.
Definitely. You have to learn how to say no. One of the biggest things, because that was my problem. Every time somebody would tell me to do something, I would say yes. And then what about my kids? What about my husband? What about this? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So learning how to say no. Also, the thing that helped me a lot was that when I closed that door, like my office, the problems from my office, stay at my office. Because I used to bring them home, and it used to be so chaotic, and my kids would be like, why are you so sad? Why are you mad? Why are you not like listening to us? So now I learned that once I close that door, that's it. Now it's my babies 24/7, and that's my best job too. So I love it.
so definitely set hours. Like, I had to learn that myself. My first couple of months in business, I didn't turn nobody down. I'm working to 9 p.m. You call me at 8:30, I'm going all the way to Hoax Bluff, you know, because I was too afraid to say no, because then if I told you no, then it was a bad review. You know, it was something like that. So that had me worried. But now I close at 5. Philip can call me. I close at 5. Philip could be dying. I close at 5. You know, I close at 5 o'clock. I don't work on Sundays. Like, I had to set days where I do not work on Sundays, and I close at 5. So, but it took me a while to get there. Like, I did not start that way. So it took me a minute to get there.
But you also have to educate your parents on it too. So for me, it's education at the end of the day, because they don't realize we have to go home too. You know, they forget that.
So we have one more question in the back.
Yes. Along that same line, since I just opened my business a few days ago.
Yes, congratulations.
Trying to find that balance. And how do you find the balance when you have to shut the door and leave it all there, knowing, oh my goodness, I'm going to come into a mess, or I've got all these things that still need to be done. How do you balance? Because
Do it tomorrow.
I was getting ready to say, it'll be there tomorrow when you get there.
Do it tomorrow.
It'll be there tomorrow.
Somebody break in and clean up.
Do it tomorrow is another day. That's right. But the tomorrows pile up, and then I'm like left at the end of the week going, how do I catch up on everything that I put on?
So we got to prioritize.
Yes.
So you got to prioritize on what's important, or, you know, what I do, because now that I've joined the chamber, I'm an ambassador for the chambers. This is one of the hardest jobs I done ever had, okay? So so Philip will schedule 3 events on a Friday evening, right? And so on Sundays, what I do for myself, I'm also a mental health nurse practitioner, so I have a clock-in job as well. On Sunday afternoons, I pull out my calendar and I write down my whole week. And if it ain't on my calendar for this week, it's not happening. Unless it's something, you know, something emergency or something. But that's how I stay on task. So I had to learn, on Sundays, I plan my week. And it helps me stay on task. So.
For me, it's timers. I don't know if y'all heard my timer going off. I'm so sorry. That was me. I have to set a timer, and that's how long I'm working on that something before I've got to move on and focus on something else. So that's what helps me not make my list longer at the end of the week, is I set a timer and make myself sit down and do that one thing and not procrastinate it because I would rather do this over that. So that's what helps me the most.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So again, everybody, this has been our 4th episode of The Power at the Table. This is the testimony table. And again, we would like to thank the Etowah Chamber of Commerce for being our partner on this podcast. This is going to kick off a series of podcast socials. And last but definitely not least, let me thank my brother from another mother, Mr. Nick Johnson from Onyx Studios, for a fantastic job. Thank you for being our sponsor. Thank you for coming through and blessing us with your gifts that God has given you. And to our amazing audience, my amazing panelists, I'm grateful and I thank you. Thank you, everybody.